Oh my god, is that... So this led to Civil War? Are you kidding me? Guys! Hello everybody, it is time to continue our deep dive into the Marvel Universe with learning about every single superhero team. How many do we have? All explained in 44 minutes.
I'm sure if you go into the comments, they'll be like, "Yo, you're missing this one that showed up for like 3 issues." Or
Oh, I can imagine it's similar to the cosmology video where there's a ton of different dimensions that people created, but just were never mentioned again outside of it. So we'll see which ones we get to and which ones I recognize. From the thumbnail, I think I recognized one. I thought it was just a game, Midnight Suns. That's a turn-based game that I've been meaning to stream at some point because it's kind of like XCOM, so it'd probably be up my alley. Of the groups that I do know of, Avengers? X-Men? That's pretty much it.
Those are groups.
I've heard you talk about the Young Avengers before.
Yeah, I'm a huge Young Avengers fan.
And I think Magic is from New Mutants or something like that. But of course, this is a reaction video. Please go and support the OG video. Link to that is at the very top of the description, as always. And if you want to see our other Marvel lore reactions, make sure to check down the description as well. There should be a playlist there, linked in all of our Marvel videos. But alrighty, let's get into it. Avengers.
They are by far the most iconic superhero team in the Marvel Universe. Created by writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby, the team debuted in the Avengers 1 in 1963. Originally comprising Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Ant-Man, and the Wasp, the Avengers formed to combat threats
It's not Ant-Man from the MCU, that would be Hank Pym.
What is that Iron Man suit?
Old Iron Man looks really funny.
I kind of love the Hulk's design too. He's just like a burly guy, but he's just green.
He's kind of got a very stoic face, which is funny in that shot.
Single hero could withstand, and over time, the roster has expanded to include a vast array of heroes like Captain America,
like almost
Black Widow,
any even remotely popular hero has probably been on the Avengers at some point.
Yeah, I can see that being the case. Is that Red Hulk, by the way, in the back there? He also joined in? Isn't he like a villain or something? Or is he more like just neutral?
It would vary, yeah.
And on the bottom right here, the one that my body is blocking, is that Hawkeye?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I want a classic Hawkeye skin in Rival so bad. Give me the stupid H. I want the stupid H.
Are you kidding me? This is his like original design? What the?
This is slightly less like I'll share it with you.
Oh my goodness. He's just a funny little guy in a dark blue and purple outfit. The big H. Is he also trying to cosplay as Wolverine with the mask there?
Of the era, I think.
Oh my goodness.
He had the H for a long time.
Thank goodness they removed that. I'm so glad that they changed the design because, I don't know. This is sort of on par for me with like the OG Squirrel Girl design.
It's not as bad as the OG Squirrel Girl design. Let's be real here.
I don't know. I wouldn't go out in public wearing that. Not even as a superhero.
The roster has expanded to include a vast array of heroes like Captain America, Black Widow, and Vision, along other ones. Multiple teams use the name Avengers, such as the West Coast Avengers, Young Avengers, Great Lakes Avengers, and even the Pet Avengers, ensuring that their stories are continually evolving and never dull. And thanks to this diversity, the Avengers have been known as the Earth's mightiest heroes. They are frequently facing iconic villains like Thanos, Loki, Ultron, and so many others throughout the years. They have profoundly impacted both the Marvel Universe and pop culture at large, standing as a cornerstone of superhero media, as their influence extends beyond the comic book pages into blockbuster films, merchandise, and even theme park attractions, epitomizing the superhero team dynamic. And their narrative of diverse personalities uniting against common threats has resonated deeply with audiences, promoting themes of teamwork and justice. And there's
like, it's just a really good idea for any superhero universe to have some sort of team up like this, because it creates interesting dynamics for more unique stories.
Well, I mean, you just have to imagine, right? If you have a world full of superpowered people, if you're going to keep escalating the grand scale of things, at some point they got to work together, right?
It's the basics of creating a hero and making sure that that hero has to have some sort of journey that they go on. If you give them powers that are just way too OP, then there isn't really much of a journey unless if the threat that they face is more powerful than them, or the power that the threat possesses is just something that they have to overcome with creativity or by helping each other or learning some sort of valuable lesson. You know, just making a story. So it makes sense for this to happen. What I wish, though, is that Warner Brothers didn't destroy the Justice League. Because we could have two really good superhero groups in the movie side of things. But instead, we have that. At least the Zack Snyder cut helped out a little bit.
Justice League has some good animated series.
Oh, well, DC just has really good animation. I don't know. The different departments are probably working on it, and maybe Warner Brothers doesn't constantly step in on production and make them change after the movie was released and stuff like that. So.
Ironically, the DC show that I've seen the most of was Young Justice.
Young Justice, Young Avengers. I feel like I'm starting to see a pattern here, Sari.
I like the next generation heroes.
I guess that makes sense with you being the last millennial and all. You've already proven this. Technically speaking, you were born at the very last year you could be considered a millennial, so.
I guess I like, because there's already the foundation from the heroes that came before them, and a lot of them are related to them in some way or an aspect. So it's like you have that structure, and it's then how do you build them in a new direction? And I think that's fun.
Being the children of already established superheroes, is that kind of the theme there? Or?
I mean, sort of. Like, for the Young Avengers, which are the ones I know better, obviously, it's like a lot of them are related. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But also, for them, they were just Avengers fanboys. So when the Avengers split apart, they're like, we can do it.
Yeah, that would actually create an interesting dynamic because they're not established. They have an idea of what they want to be, and they already have an example of that. And so it can create this comparison between the two that wouldn't happen otherwise. So yeah, I can see why people would enjoy something like that. But I mean, that was sort of the next thing that we'll learn about probably. So we'll get to it.
Cinematic portrayal has set the standard for superhero ensemble casts, catalyzing the launch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which revolutionized Hollywood's approach to franchise storytelling and shared universes. The team's adaptability to various social and political climates has kept them relevant and beloved by generations, underscoring their enduring appeal and cultural significance. Young Avengers. They were conceived as a younger counterpart to the Avengers and first appeared in Young Avengers 1 in 2005. The series has been noted for its fresh take on the superhero genre, and their stories often focus on the challenges of living up to the legacy of the Avengers while carving out their own identities. The series has been praised for its character development, narrative depth, and for providing a platform for diverse stories. The original lineup of the team includes Iron Lad, a younger version of Kang the Conqueror, who seeks to...
The 2005, 2006, like original run of the Young Avengers is probably still my favorite. The storyline with Iron Lad and all that is just really good.
Iron Lad. That's great.
Like I said, these guys were all Avengers fanboys, right? So that's why Hulkling isn't related to Hulk, but Hulk was the popular hero from the Avengers, right? So that's the mantle he took up. Iron Lad, same thing. He's not related to Stark, but he has the armor, and he was like, yeah.
I shall carry on the torch, this legacy that I looked up to.
One of them, like Kate Bishop, Hawkeye willingly passed down the mantle to her.
Was it the girl in the purple that we saw with the bow earlier?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, is that Doom? I see him everywhere now. I swear to God.
Doom is everywhere.
He's just going to show up on my front porch one day. He's like, I am Doom.
To avoid becoming his future self. There's also Chedi Altman, aka Hulkling, a shape-shifting hybrid of Kree and Skrull heritage, who later becomes significant in intergalactic politics. Billy Kaplan.
Well, you know, at least he's green, so it makes sense.
I mean, he's part Skrull.
Also, this is a very interesting pose to be depicted in.
Aka Wiccan, a sorcerer with powers similar to Scarlet Witch, who is later revealed to be one of her reincarnated sons, Ellie Bradley.
So that's your favorite character. You keep talking about him so much, I see.
Yeah, I love Wiccan.
Well, I was going to go back to
Wiccan
that,
and
but
Hulkling.
probably. They've got a bulge. It's very tight down there.
Aka Patriot, the grandson of Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America, who initially uses performance-enhancing drugs to match his grandfather's powers, but later receives a blood transfusion that gives him genuine superpowers.
That's
Kate
so
Bishop
comic
is
book because that wouldn't do shit. But, yeah. Sure, we'll go with it.
Bro took steroids first. Found a
I'm
healthier
kinda
way,
sad
quote unquote.
Patriot wasn't in Captain America, like the new Captain America movie. He should have been in it.
And honestly, that probably would have been a perfect time to introduce a character like this, and then maybe
Because
start
they had
Young
Isaiah
Avengers.
Bradley in it, but they didn't. Yeah, they didn't bring Patriot in, which was sad.
skilled archer who adopts the Hawkeye name after Clint Barton, and Cassie Lang, aka Sacher, the daughter of Scott Lang, the Ant-Man, who inherits the ability to change her
Her
size.
powers
And over
are
time,
also
of course,
very comic book. They basically just said that over time she just kept kind of exposing herself to PIM particles, hoping she'd get powers, and then she did.
It's such a classic origin story. Oh no! I exposed myself to dangerous substances. Now I have superpowers.
the roster has evolved to include other characters like Kid Loki, America Chavez, and Novar, Marvel Boy. The Young Avengers have
Gotcha.
yet to
I
be
like they
featured
don't
as a
mention
group.
Speed, which is one of the ones that was added. He's the first member who was added, and is Wiccan's brother.
I would assume Speed is a speedster. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
he's another one, one of the twins of the Scarlet Witch, and so he has basically Quicksilver's powers.
Oh, yeah, because they're related, right? If I remember correctly.
Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are brother sister.
Gotcha. And Quicksilver had like some of the coolest scenes in the newer X-Men movies. But then his
Yeah.
power was also too OP, so they had to come up with some bullshit reason why he couldn't do the things that he usually would be able to do. Which is, I feel like it's kind of a common issue when it comes to
His
superheroes.
character was done so dirty in Age of Ultron, it's not even funny.
He can't dodge those bullets. He's done way more than that. But no, they have to give him some arbitrary reason to just die. Bruh.
Mhm.
in either a major film or a TV show, because several characters have already appeared in various MCU projects, like Cassie Lang in the Ant-Man films, Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series, and America Chavez in the
Oh.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
They've teased so much of it, and then it feels like they're not going to do anything with it, and that makes me really sad. They've also completely fucked up Hulkling's origin story with the nonsense they did in with Captain Marvel. So,
Ooh, yikes.
well, so they gender swap Marvel for whatever reason they wanted to. Like, it doesn't matter. But Hulkling's origins is basically Marvel was his father, and his father had a son with Skrull royalty. And that's Hulkling. And so that's why he eventually ends up becoming the king of the Kree Skrull Alliance. But yeah.
So how was
They've
the
messed
father?
up the Skrull, and they've messed up Marvel. So it's just like
How do you do
they
that?
have to pretty much entirely rewrite his origin story to make that work. I don't know.
Oh god.
And Wiccan in Agatha All Along, and many others. So we'll see how that's gonna turn out. Secret Avengers. It's a covert
Oh.
operation
What? Excuse me? No wonder why I didn't know of these guys. I guess they're good at their job.
superhero team first appearing in Secret Avengers 1 in 2010. And unlike
Was
the
that Moon
traditional
Knight?
Avengers, this team operates in the shadows.
The swirly booba. Why is that always such a common theme? What is this
I don't
design
know.
choice? Look
I
at that.
don't know. I'm not a fan.
Avengers 1 in 2010. And unlike the traditional Avengers, this team operates in the shadows, engaging in espionage, black ops, and high-stakes missions that require secrecy and precision.
That's what I think of
Secret
espionage.
Avengers
I think of Beast, the giant furry monkey.
He jumps in on the operation when things go bad, okay? I'm sure it's the girl with the swirly boobas that goes undercover.
Formed by Steve Rogers after the events of Siege, during a time where he was no longer wearing the Captain America mantle, and it was created to handle threats that required discretion, operating outside the public eye to prevent large-scale disasters before they could happen, and their missions often involve infiltration, sabotage, and intelligence gathering. The team has had multiple iterations with different lineups depending on the mission and leadership.
Venom?
The first roster was led by Steve Rogers. He was the leader and strategic.
Okay.
Flash Thompson's Venom.
Oh, wait, Flash Thompson, isn't that the guy that bullies Spider-Man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so like a bit of
a turning point.
A bit of the Venom symbiote got it to him or something like that, or did Venom transfer to him?
It was when he was host of Venom.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And they become the hero
stepping
Agent
into
Venom.
a different role post Captain America, and the roster also included Black Widow, Moon Knight, Beast, War Machine, Valkyrie the Asgardian warrior, and Eric O'Grady aka Ant-Man. And Hawkeye and Black Widow took charge during later iterations, focusing more on intelligence and stealth. And Nick Fury and Maria Hill have occasionally directed the team during missions involving global espionage, with Flash Thompson aka Agent Venom and Bucky Barnes aka Winter Soldier joined in later versions, further emphasizing the team's Black Ops identity. The comic series Secret Avengers that ran from 2010 to 2013 focused on global threats, including a conspiracy involving the Serpent Crown and clashes with rogue organizations like the Shadow Council. And in Avengers Standoff, the team plays a role in uncovering and dealing with S.H.I.E.L.D's controversial Pleasant Hill prison project. And in Secret Empire, the Secret Avengers continue to operate against Hydra when Steve Rogers, altered by the Cosmic Cube, takes over the US government. So this team deal with grey morality, covert operations, and espionage.
Literally Captain America. He controls America now. I see. Poor guy.
Heavy storytelling, and their work often involves deception, deep cover missions, and tackling threats that can't be handled in the public eye. And the tone of their comics often blends superhero action with spy, thriller elements. And while the Secret Avengers have not appeared as a standalone team in the MCU, several elements of their stories have influenced films like Captain America the Winter Soldier, where characters like Black Widow, Steve Rogers, and Falcon operate in secrecy, and the concept of a Shadow Avengers team also aligns with the projects like Thunderbolts, which will introduce a morally complex team in the MCU.
Wait, wasn't there a skin in Marvel Rivals for Bucky that was inspired by Thunderbolts? I think it recently
they're doing
released.
A tie-in skin.
Gotcha. I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah, cool.
It's not your typical Marvel team, it's more of a class. Let me explain. So the Avengers Academy is a Marvel Comics series that debuted in 2010. It follows a group of young superhumans recruited by the Avengers to be trained as the next generation of heroes. However, unlike previous superhero training initiatives and traditional superhero school stories, such as Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, these students are chosen not because of their potential for heroism, but because they are at risk of becoming future supervillains.
You know, that makes sense. If you have power, you have great responsibility. So they got to make sure they're using it for the right thing. Or at the very least, if you're going to use it for the wrong thing, then we know who you are and we know where you sleep. Yeah. So
the story takes a darker, more psychological approach, and they constantly question whether they are truly heroes or just being manipulated to avoid becoming villains. So after the events of Dark Reign and Siege, Norman Osborn had experimented on and manipulated young superhumans as part of his initiative program. And once he was defeated, the Avengers, led by Hank Pym, Tigra, Quicksilver, Justice, and Speedball, formed Avengers Academy to help rehabilitate and guide these at rescue toward heroism. Because the instructors feared that these students might be
like Speedboat.
But I mean, Speedball isn't... It's not that much better.
Not that much better, yeah.
Also, this poor kid. What are you, like Hulk mixed with Red Skull or something like that? Poor guy.
I don't actually know really anything about this. I haven't read these.
I have never seen this before. No. This lady, she's just unwrapping herself. Is she a mummy but with nothing inside? There's some really intriguing powers that we got here.
Become villains if they don't receive proper training and guidance, creating a tense and morally complex dynamic. The initial class consists of Humberto Lopez, aka Reptile, a teenager with the power to transform into dinosaurs, often struggling with his instincts; Jean Foucault, aka Finesse, a polymath and expert combatant suspected of being Taskmaster's daughter; Brandon Sharp, aka Striker, a lightning-powered teen who hides deep insecurities under arrogance; Jennifer Chiquira, a girl with shocks and radiation abilities, forced to wear a containment suit; Ken Mack, aka Metal, a kind-hearted surfer whose skin was turned into unbreakable metal; and Marilyn Berry, aka
gnarly,
Veil, a girl with the power to turn into gas, but at the cost of her lifespan. Later, other young heroes like White Tiger, X-23, and Lightspeed joined the academy. So
X-23
obviously
there
later
too.
on in the series, the students discovered that they weren't picked because of their heroic potential, but because the Avengers feared they could become villains, and this revelation shakes their trust in their mentors. And in the Fear Itself crossover, the Academy faces its first major crisis, as the Serpent's War tests their resolve as heroes. And in the Hybrid threat, the students must face Hybrid, a deadly alien mutant hybrid who challenges their moral limits. Comes the Avengers vs. X-Men event, the students must decide where they stand in the Avengers vs. X-Men conflict, causing rifts within the Academy. And a mobile game based on the concept was released in 2016, featuring an alternate reality where
the Avengers Academy still has comics, but it's different from this, so I'm not sure if it's just the Academy is still open and doing stuff and there's different heroes there. I don't know.
With a different generation comes different policies. So, completely different tone, I'm sure. But it's also like, yeah, they gathered you here because of your potential to become villains, but also the world as a whole suspected that the Avengers could become villains, and then there was this whole policy of like, superheroes can't do all of this. And that wasn't that like the main plot of Civil War? So I don't think it's unfair for everybody to try and keep everyone else in check. But I guess just being viewed as potentially being a bad person can shake a person to their core, especially a young teen, an impressionable
there's
teenager.
a point in Young Avengers where Wiccan, the Avengers are trying to decide just what to do with him because he's basically got the Scarlet Witch's powers, though potentially a higher ceiling. And so they're like, well, we just saw what she did in House of M and we're kind of terrified.
Yeah.
What do we do with you?
I think I'll just rewrite all of reality. All right. See you guys later.
But Wiccan's a good boy, so he's just like, I don't know. I don't want to hurt people either. So he kind of just hides away in the room that they put him in until Hulkling comes and breaks him out.
It's still scary, though. Possessing that much power, you never know when somebody's going to turn. It can happen to anybody. It just takes one bad day. And I want to find more subjects to talk about so that we can continue to be on this pause screen, but I can't think of anything, so let's move on.
Versions of Marvel heroes attend this academy. And though the series ended after 39 issues, it remains one of Marvel's most unique takes on the superhero training concept. It introduced complex young heroes, many of whom still appear in modern comics, and challenged the idea that superhero mentoring is always ethical. And to this day, Avengers Academy is still regarded as one of Marvel's most underrated superhero school stories, and one of Marvel's most beloved stories, setting the foundation for future young hero teams like the Champions.
I think that makes sense. Like, if you have powers, you should be taught by people who have powers what to do with those powers. So proper education is much needed for all of these things. I'm glad that there was an attempt, even though it only lasted for 39 issues.
Well, it's still around, so it comes back, I guess.
S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a fictional espionage and law enforcement agency that first appeared in Strange Tales 135 in 1965, and it is known for its role in dealing with paranormal and superhuman threats. S.H.I.E.L.D. was originally conceived as an extension of the United States military and the United Nations, tasked with defending the world from both domestic and extraterrestrial threats. And under the leadership of its most famous director, Nick Fury, the agency operates from various secret bases around the world, including a notable airborne carrier known as the Helicarrier. S.H.I.E.L.D. is characterized by its use of cutting-edge technology, as the organization employs various high-tech vehicles, weaponry, and communications devices, as well as advanced espionage techniques. In the Marvel Universe, the organization plays a central role in numerous story arcs, often interaction with superheroes and influencing major events. And
isn't that one of Mr. Fantastic's skins?
What?
On the left and the right here, isn't that the Maker?
Oh, yeah, it's the Maker. Yeah.
Oh, God. This is probably not a good timeline to be in.
Interaction with superheroes and influencing major events, and its agents are depicted as highly trained operatives capable of handling both superhuman and conventional challenges. S.H.I.E.L.D. has been a prominent feature in many Marvel adaptations, especially within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the MCU, S.H.I.E.L.D. is initially portrayed as a secretive organization, with its activities and the character of Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, becoming a unifying element across the various films. And the TV series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. further explores the organization's impact on the world and its dynamics with different characters and threats. But that show is not canon to the MCU anymore.
Yeah,
They
kind of felt that far.
Ooh. Yeah, I recall seeing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Fox, I think, but what happened?
Yeah, basically, it kind of just went in its own direction that was later contradicted by the movies, so...
Ooh, okay. So they had to cut it off because there was no way they could make it work, I'm assuming.
I think interest lost. It had like 6 or 7 seasons, so it went on for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think people still liked the idea of seeing kind of the ground level outside of the Marvel movies.
Oh, I would. Heck, yeah.
Yeah,
we see all the superheroes all the time.
In the early seasons, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it fell off a little bit.
Unfortunate.
And it stopped being canon, so it was like, what's the point?
Gotcha.
They are a team of superheroes created by writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby, and they first appeared in X-Men 1 in 1963. Unlike traditional superheroes, the X-Men are mutants, a subspecies of humans born with superhuman abilities, which manifest at puberty. They are often shunned by society due to their mutations, making them symbols for broader themes of prejudice and intolerance. The X-Men were founded by Professor Charles Xavier, a powerful telepath. He created the Xavier School for gifted youngsters to serve as a safe haven where mutants can learn to control their powers and coexist peacefully with humans. The original team consisted of Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, Angel, and Jean Grey.
I am so sorry that I didn't know about Iceman. I have never heard of this guy. Apparently he was in the Fox movies.
The comments roasting you.
Yeah. But... I never realized.
Like he's a fairly well-known X-Men, but I don't know.
Okay, when I watched the movies, I was a kid, and I was basically there to see the cool effects and the superheroes do cool things. I didn't really care about what their names were. I do recall some dude having like ice powers.
It's pretty self-explanatory, though.
And then he like created this ice wall during one of the X-Men movies in order to block off the people that were coming into the orphanage. But that's all I remember.
They couldn't have done too much with him because his effects would be expensive, so he got backseated.
Oh, yikes! Yeah, and he sure as hell did not look like this. That I'll tell you that much.
And over the years, the roster has expanded significantly to include many well-known characters, such as Wolverine, Storm, Rogue, Gambit, and Nightcrawler, and each character has his own unique ability and fighting style. The team's primary adversary is Magneto, a mutant with power to manipulate magnetic fields, who often serves as a complex antagonist with his philosophy that mutants should dominate over humans as the superior species, and this conflict between Xavier's vision for peaceful coexistence and Magneto's militant approach towards mutant supremacy is a central theme of the X-Men series. Their comics have explored various complex issues such as racism, bigotry, and other social injustices, and they have also been adapted.
I always think it's funny when you see people nowadays be like, "When did the X-Men become woke?"
What the?
X-Men were always woke, buddy. That's the entire point of the X-Men.
If anybody ever says that to you, you know that media literacy is dead. Every single aspect about the X-Men is about people who don't fit in. That they don't have a place to be, that they're a minority and feel like unwanted by society. That's the whole point of their story.
Various television shows, and like the Avengers, the team has significantly impacted pop culture and remain one of Marvel's most beloved and enduring properties. The New Mutants.
I would
They are a
argue
team of
pre-MCU, the most notable Marvel characters were probably Spider-Man, X-Men, and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Well, those were the big movies that were out at the time. The Spider-Man Sam Raimi movies and the Fox X-Men movies. The original Fantastic Four wasn't bad, actually, with Chris Evans as Johnny. Like, I say that
its fun moments, but it wasn't great.
I say that in comparison to the Fan Four Stick movie that came afterwards. Like, they could have done it worse.
Anything is better than Fan Four Stick. It comes back down to their portrayal of Doom in that movie for me. It's just bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I never realized how cool Doom was until I looked at the cosmology video. Because ever since, Doom was just like this idiot who didn't know how to use his powers, at least to me. That's how the movies portrayed him.
No, he's the master of science and magic.
But I think the New Mutants actually did get a movie. It was like one of the last X-Men movies. Apparently it wasn't very good.
Yeah, they do have a movie.
But
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I think they tried to mix like horror with the superhero genre, which historically has worked before. Like,
I sound down for that concept.
I love Constantine. And another movie that did the same thing was Brightburn. I don't know if you've heard about it before, but it basically... No, then you should definitely check it out. It's a really good mix of horror and superhero. They basically had like the whole Superman story, but he didn't turn out to be good.
I remember, I don't know if you know the movie Chronicle. It was like a found footage
film.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I really liked that one.
Just the found footage aspect plus the superhero sort of storyline to it made it very unique. This is why they needed the Avengers Academy. This is what happens when people don't have a place to like learn from others about how to use their powers. Then they just go berserk. They do use it for their own selfish reasons. So yeah.
Young Mutants serving as a junior counterpart to the more established X-Men, and they first appeared in Marvel Graphic Novel 4 in 1982. They were initially a group of teenage mutants training at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, learning to cope with their mutant powers while facing the typical challenges of adolescence. The original lineup of the New Mutants includes Cannonball, known for his ability to propel himself through the air like a human rocket,
become a
while
cannonball.
being invulnerable when doing so. Wolfsbane, a Scottish mutant who can transform into a wolf or into a transitional state between human and wolf. Mirage, a Cheyenne mutant with the power to create illusions, drawn from the fears and desires of a person's mind. Sunspot, a Brazilian mutant with the ability to absorb and channel solar power. And Karma, the first team leader who has the ability to possess other people's bodies. Over the years, the team's roster has expanded to include other members such as Magic, Warlock, and Magma, among others.
Warlock.
The New Mutants have been involved in
I'm assuming not Adam.
To Adam Warlock.
Yeah. Just a Warlock. Gotcha.
Significant story arcs dealing with issues ranging from teenage angst and cultural identity to more extensive conflicts involving time travel, alien encounters, and interdimensional threats. So their stories often explore themes of growth, belonging, and...
God damn, they don't look so good. Also, is this a Warlock? What the heck is that? Bro is like a robot from the movie Robots.
Reflecting the struggles of adolescents through the lens of mutant experience. The team has been adapted into various media, most notably a live-action film adaptation back in 2020 called The New Mutants. The film presents a horror-infused take on the team's origin story, focusing on the characters discovering their abilities while held in a secret facility. And the film was...
Yeah, I wish there were more like horror-based superhero movies. We've had plenty of the cool action thrillers.
You know what's another one that is kind of into the horror, more thriller than horror, but Legion was a TV show that I actually really enjoyed, but I don't feel like hardly anyone watched it, which was sad. But
was Legion about like the angels and there were more horror aspects to it as well?
No, I think that's a movie. I don't know what that is. But,
okay, gotcha.
No, Legion is Xavier's son, and he's like one of the most powerful mutants, but he is entirely mentally unstable, so it's very much a psychological thriller.
Ooh.
I don't know. It was really cool. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that
I
could
feel
be
like
really
I'm in the
cool.
minority on that one, but I really liked it.
Especially told from his perspective on things, so you're kind of left guessing what exactly happened.
It's very disorienting how it's presented. It's really good.
The final X-Men movie released under 20th Century Fox before the studio was acquired by Disney in 2019. X-Force.
Oh my
Created by
god.
writer
I did see Deadpool 2. I don't think the scene lasted very long in that movie.
You know what's funny? I haven't seen the other Deadpools. I've only seen the first Deadpool movie.
Oh god. I mean, I think Deadpool 2 was pretty fun. You should check it out if you have the time to.
Yeah.
And Deadpool and Wolverine was also really, really good. Probably one of the better MCU movies in recent times.
I have to get around
and
them
artist Rob Liefeld and first appearing in Marvel Comics New Mutants 100 in 1991. X-Force is a more militant and aggressive counterpart to the peacekeeping X-Men. Initially led by the time-traveling mutant Cable, X-Force was conceived as a proactive strike team that engages threats before they could endanger mutant kind. The original lineup of X-Force included characters from the later issues of New Mutants, such as Cannonball, Domino, Warpath, and Shatterstar, with each member bringing their own unique combat skills and powers into the fray. And over the years, the roster has seen many changes, including notable members like Wolverine, Deadpool, and Psylocke, reflecting the team's evolving mission and the shifting dynamics within the mutant community. Their operations are characterized by a willingness to make the hard choices and take actions that the more mainstream superhero teams might avoid. This has often placed them in morally ambiguous situations, dealing with complex themes of security versus freedom, and the ethics of preemptive action. Their stories are action-packed, featuring high-stakes espionage and combat scenarios that delve into darker and edgier aspects of the Marvel Universe. The team has also been featured in various media, especially in Deadpool 2. In the movie, Deadpool decides to form his own version of X-Force to protect a young mutant from Cable, who has traveled back in time with intentions to kill the boy. Deadpool 2 uses the concept of X-Force with a characteristic blend of humor and irreverence, which differs from the typically more serious and combat-focused tone of the team in the comics. The movie version of X-Force serves both as a parody of and a tribute to the original team, which helped introducing the group to a broader audience.
Gotcha.
The Midnight...
Yeah, I didn't know that originally it was made by Cable, because I was first introduced to it by this parody of the group. So, yeah, my memories of X-Force are, yeah. They didn't do so well. But okay, Midnight Suns. What's going on here?
Suns. They are a group of supernatural heroes formed to battle mystical and otherworldly threats. They are
okay. Obviously, because there are actually paranormal things that happen in this universe, there's got to be a team specifically for that. So, good to see. Is that Doctor Strange? Yeah, that makes sense that he's here. Is that Blade and Ghost Rider? Ghost Rider's working with other people? He does that?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Isn't that the Spider-Man that they made fun of in the Spider-Verse movies?
Ben Reilly. Scarlet Spider.
Oh, there's also the swamp thing in the back there. What is that? Oh.
Closely tied to dark, horror-themed elements of the Marvel Universe, and are often associated with characters dealing in magic, demons, or the occult. This group was introduced during the Rise of the Midnight Suns crossover in 1992, which spanned several series including Ghost Rider, Morbius, Darkhold Pages.
Oh my god, that was Morbius. It's Morbin time.
That movie has done irreparable damage to Morbius.
Okay, please tell me that in the comics Morbius is actually really cool or something like that. Like, is he a popular character?
I mean, I don't know that I'd say he's a popular character, but he's better than the movie. I can say pretty much with certainty.
Oh god.
From the Book of Sins, Night Stalkers, and Spirits of Vengeance. The team was born in the early 1990s, a time when supernatural and gothic themes were thriving in pop culture. So Marvel capitalized.
Okay, good. I thought the Crow was like a part of the Midnight Suns, and I never knew. But that movie was really good. I guess it was just put here as like it's same thematic thing.
On this trend by creating a darker, horror-focused team to explore the grittier, supernatural side of its universe. Not only that,
I
but
should
this
probably just
era
play the
saw a
game,
surge in
honestly.
interest in
Looked good.
anti-heroes and morally complex characters, making the Midnight Suns a perfect fit for the time. As for the members, like any other team, the composition of the Midnight Suns has varied throughout the years, but some of the central figures include Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch, both bearers of the Ghost Rider curse, capable of wielding hellfire and executing supernatural justice, Blade the Vampire Hunter, Morbius, a biochemist who, in attempting to cure his own blood disorder, becomes a pseudo-vampire with a thirst for blood but
he's not
retains
actually
his
a
humanity.
vampire, but
So you're telling me that bro messed up so bad he ended up making himself into one? Poor guy. Oh, is that what happens? Does he like inject himself with it? And he's like, it's Morbin time.
in the movie, I got no idea. I didn't watch it.
Oh, God.
Doctor Strange, the well-known Sorcerer Supreme, he occasionally aligns with the group, providing significant magical expertise. Other notable members include Damien Hellstorm, Man-Thing, Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, Elsa Bloodstone, and that's just to name a few. Like I mentioned, the Midnight Suns deal with the darker and more horror-oriented aspects of the Marvel Universe, and their missions typically involve vampires and other malevolent supernatural forces, so their adventures are marked by a grittier and darker tone than your usual superheroes. And while the Midnight Suns have not been as prominently featured in mainstream media as other Marvel teams, elements of the group and its characters have appeared in various animated series and video games or even films, such as the movie Morbius, Ghost Rider, and the Disney Plus series Moon Knight, and many other. The concept of this team that delves into the supernatural.
I heard that it was good, but I know a lot of people were disappointed with the ending, so I don't really know what happened there.
I mean, it's open-ended.
Oh yeah. If you have an open-ended ending, there's gotta be some discussion around it.
It's a 6-episode series. So.
So it's just a small appetizer for what Moon Knight could be. I see.
It focuses on basically 2 of Moon Knight's alters, and so it teases the 3rd at the very end.
Gotcha. But like, he has a ton of different personalities now.
He's got the 3 that he's known for.
Okay, I see.
Natural offers a rich vein of storytelling and provides a counterbalance to the more sci-fi and traditional narratives in superhero media. The Fantastic Four. They are Marvel Comics' first superhero team, also created by writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby. They made their debut in the Fantastic Four.
Holy, is Batman okay?
Goober! What?
One eternity later.
I think we're done.
All right. Also, is it supposed to be Invisible Girl? I always refer to her as Invisible Woman.
It was originally. She changed it, which was a good call.
Well, you know, the older you become, the more outdated that name's gonna be, so you might as well update it early.
Imagine Mr. Fantastic. So I'm Mr. Fantastic, this is my wife, Invisible Girl.
The team's original lineup consists of 4 individuals who gain superpowers after being exposed to cosmic rays during a scientific mission to outer space. Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, aka Invisible Woman, Joni Storm, aka the Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, aka the Thing. Reed Richards is a scientific genius, can stretch his body into incredible lengths and shapes.
Why'd you gotta flex like that?
His wife. She has the ability to become invisible and later develops the power to generate
always
force
makes
fields.
me happy.
Her brother, Johnny Storm, can engulf his body in flames, fly, and control fire. Ben Grimm is Reed's best friend and a former college football star and pilot, who transforms into a rock-like creature with superhuman strength known as the Thing. The Fantastic Four is not just a team, but also a close-knit family. Their stories combine superhero antics with soap opera-like drama, exploring themes of family, responsibility, and humanity. The team often confronts their arch-enemy, Dr. Doom, a brilliant, twisted scientist and ruler of Latveria, whose rivalry with Reed Richards fuels many other conflicts. And over the decades, the Fantastic Four has been involved in some of Marvel's most significant storylines, including the discovery of the Negative Zone, encounters with the alien Skrulls and Kree, and pivotal roles in events like Civil War and Secret Wars. Their explorations and adventures often bring them into the broader cosmic landscape of the Marvel Universe, where they interact with entities like the Silver Surfer and Galactus.
I find it interesting that it's the Fantastic Four that sees all of these things that people would never normally see. Other superheroes would never normally interact with these cosmic level beings. Or even heck, meeting one above all was the Fantastic Four, though. Like, how did that happen? Why is it these guys specifically? Is it because Reed just big brain?
I mean, there's that. I think also just because Fantastic Four has always been one of Marvel's best comics, there's just a lot of stories that they've done with them.
Considering how the movies have treated them, I would have never guessed.
Planet Eating Titan. Their influence extends beyond comics into animated series and movies. And although some of them have seen mixed success, they remain an integral part of the Marvel's legacy. And they are soon to be integrated into the MCU, next year to be
Again, I'm excited for the Fantastic Four movie. I'm scared to be excited for Marvel movies at this point. But I really am. I'm excited for Sentry and Thunderbolts. I'm excited for Fantastic Four. I'm gonna get let down, I'm sure. But
go into it with no expectations and you'll be pleasantly surprised no matter what it is. Hopefully. Imagine if Reed walks up right in front of the camera and says, "It's flexing time."
Specific, so hopefully they're gonna get the worthy adaptation every comic book reader was waiting for.
Hopefully.
The Ultimates, a powerful team that focuses on cosmic level threats rather than traditional supervillain battles. First appearing in Avengers Volume 6 Issue 0, this version of the Ultimates should not be confused with the Ultimate Universe version of the team, which serves as a modernized reimagining of the Avengers. Unlike other superhero teams that defend Earth from immediate dangers, the Ultimates deal with threats on a multiversal and cosmic scale. They don't just fight problems, they solve them before they can escalate into universe-ending events. And their work often involves altering reality, repairing universal structures, and navigating the fabric of space and time. Members of the team, there's Black Panther, the team's strategist and tactician, providing advanced Wakandan technology and leadership. Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, one of the team's most powerful members, acting as their powerhouse and a bridge between Earth and cosmic civilizations. Blue Marvel, a genius-level scientist with antimatter-based powers. Spectrum, a light-based superhero with the ability to...
I'm curious if we're going to get Blue Marvel in the MCU at some point.
I have never heard of this character.
Inevitable, but just with the power scale that we've been building to, I feel like he's going to show up, but who knows?
Wasn't there a planned movie, Secret Wars? Then that would be a multiversal level thing, so maybe?
Transform into any energy form, acting as the team's energy manipulator and scout, and America Chavez, a multiversal
I feel like
traveler.
Molecule Man feels like we need him. He's a pretty pivotal part, too, in Secret War. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what they choose to do.
We already have America Chavez introduced, so...
With super range, flight, and the ability to open star-shaped portals between dimensions. In their first major mission, rather than battling Galactus, the team transformed him from a world devourer into a life-bringer, reversing his cosmic role and making him a force for creation instead of destruction. And they also had some troubles with the multiverse.
We learned about that in the cosmology video.
I mean, we did.
Galactus lost his world hunger.
But his role in the universe is to make sure that it doesn't go berserk. So that's why he devours life. If we make him create life, then what happens?
Well, it turned out fine.
Okay. Well, then you probably shouldn't have been eating planets in the first place. Bad on you. I love Thanos' shit-eating grin here, though. They'll never stop me.
Wait, all of them look so serious.
As they sought to understand the structure of it, leading to encounters with beings like the Living Tribunal, Eternity, and the mysterious First Firmament, the original incarnation of the universe. And in the events of the Eternity War, the team became involved in a conflict that revealed that the Marvel multiverse itself was chained, limiting its evolution and expansion. And their work led to freeing the multiverse from these unseen restrictions. So you get the gist. The team operates at a godlike level of problem solving, interacting sometimes with cosmic forces that most other heroes can't even comprehend. And though their run was relatively short, the Ultimates redefined cosmic storytelling in Marvel Comics, offering a proactive approach to universe-wide threats rather than just reacting to them. Guardians of the Galaxy. They are a band of interstellar heroes who first appeared in Marvel Comics in 1969, created by writer Arnold Drake and artist Gene Colan. However, the version most people are familiar with today debuted much later in 2008, created by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. This modern team gathers characters from various parts of the Marvel Universe, each bringing unique abilities and backgrounds to form a rather unconventional team. The core members of Guardians of the Galaxy include Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. He's the leader of the team. He's a human-alien hybrid who was abducted from Earth as a child. Star-Lord is a charismatic and often cheeky leader, skilled in combat and strategy. Gamora, known as the deadliest woman in the galaxy. She was raised by Thanos to be an assassin, but later turns against him and she seeks redemption for her past crimes. Third, we have Drax the Destroyer, driven by a desire for vengeance against Thanos for the death of his family. Drax possesses superhuman strength and a warrior's spirit. Rocket the Raccoon, a genetically altered raccoon with a penchant for weapons and tactics, and despite his small size, his fierceness and tactical genius are unparalleled. And finally,
his ability to escape my crosshair is also unparalleled. I hate the little guy.
There's Groot, I love him. A sentient tree-like creature who can only say, "I am Groot," and he's immensely strong and can regenerate from almost any injury, providing both muscle and heart to the team. Together, the Guardians of the Galaxy
who should get to voice that guy?
Often too big, dealing with cosmic foes and complex conflicts that span the galaxy. Their
Guardians of the Galaxy are such an odd situation because MCU basically rewrote them entirely, but they weren't good in the comics prior. So it generally is for the better, and anyone who says otherwise are just trying to be contrarian or they don't like the MCU.
It is one of those situations where completely changing things ended up for the better. I would agree. Or else, I wouldn't know of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
No one knew Guardians of the Galaxy before the movies. Almost no one.
But now they're popular. So, hey, things worked out.
Of action, adventure, and plenty of humor, as they often find themselves in bizarre and unpredictable situations. Their popularity surged with the release of the Guardians of the Galaxy film in 2014, directed by none other than James Gunn. The movie was praised for its vibrant visuals, memorable characters, and its soundtrack, which became a character of its own right through Peter Quill's beloved mixtape. The film and its sequels helped redefine expectations for the superhero genre, blending humor with a deep emotional core, all set against a sprawling cosmic backdrop.
Yeah, I would say that James Gunn is probably the best director that they could have found for a project specifically like this. It's just his favorite directing style.
Nailed it.
And
it's good.
For DC, they wanted James Gunn to work on the Suicide Squad, but that didn't pan out for the first movie, which is why it's really bad. And then when they got it for the second movie, The Suicide Squad, it actually turned out really good. So
I haven't seen the second one. I only saw the first one.
I would recommend checking out the second one and forgetting about the first one.
This cinematic success has cemented the Guardians of the Galaxy as one of Marvel's most beloved and distinctive teams. The Champions is a team composed of young heroes seeking to redefine what it means to be a superhero.
Young Spider-Man?
They're known for their grassroots activism, social consciousness, and youthful idealism, and they first appeared in Champions 1 in 2016. While the name Champions was previously used by an unrated 1970s team featuring heroes like Hercules and Ghost
read
Rider.
Champions because I like Miles and I like Sam a lot.
Sam?
Yeah, the Nova in this is... Yeah, he'll get to it.
Okay.
The Mother Virgin is a team of young heroes who broke away from the Avengers to form a more proactive, socially responsible superhero group. They formed after the Civil War II event, where many young heroes became frustrated with the Avengers' political conflicts and ethical compromises.
They're like, these old geezers, they can't stop fighting amongst each other. We'll go and do things the right way. Yeah. Honestly, fair enough.
The team was founded on the principle that superheroes should inspire hope, empower communities, and fight for justice without unnecessary destruction or collateral damage. And that's why the Champions focus on humanitarian efforts, helping everyday people, and standing against systematic injustice. And they have tackled human trafficking, environmental disasters, and international conflicts. And the core founding members of the team, there's Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. She's the team leader, a Pakistani-American hero with polymorphic abilities and a strong sense of justice. There's Miles Morales, Sam Alexander, aka Nova, Viv Vision, the daughter of Vision, Amaru Show, aka Hulk, a teen genius who inherited the Hulk's power but with better...
See, that's the one that I'm less because Amadeus Cho is such an arrogant piece of shit.
Oh no. Well, not everybody can be cool and awesome and good.
No, what was his comic run? Was it the totally awesome Hulk.
Oh my god. Is it actually called that?
Yeah, it is. It's totally awesome Hulk.
Bro. Like, unironically.
And young Scott Summers, the time-displaced version of Cyclops, trying to change his future by being a better leader. Later, the team expanded to
Young Scott Summers? How did this happen?
Time shenanigans. Honestly, hearing him say that, it kind of feels like they're just trying to wanting to do the Young Avengers. Because that's the, like, Iron Lad, his whole character is he's Kang the Conqueror, who went back in time not wanting to become Kang the Conqueror.
Oh.
He went looking for help from the Avengers, but the Avengers were disbanded. So he started the Young Avengers.
I see. We're retreading some plot lines here, some ideas, and trying to remix them a little bit.
Falcon and Snowguard. In War of the Realms in 2019, the team plays a key role in the Marvel's Asgardian crossover event, showing their ability to handle large-scale threats. And in Outlawed in 2020, the champions become fugitives after a government law that makes teams heroes illegal, leading to one of their most intense story arcs. And with many Champions members already introduced in the MCU, a Disney Plus series or Young Avengers crossover is highly likely. The Thunderbolts. They are
it
a
seems
team
like
of
the MCU, if they are going to do it, is probably going to kind of do a fusion of Champions and Young Avengers. Because they have both of them and they're about the same age-ish of the ones they've introduced. So
their stories are kind of parallel to each other too, so I guess it makes sense if they would put it together. Don't have to make separate movies for a similar thing.
Hulkling. If they don't give me Hulkling, you can't separate Wiccan and Hulkling.
Oh boy. Go into it with no expectations, Survey. Don't set yourself up for failure.
Their characters are entirely dependent on each other. You can't separate them.
We'll see.
From villains who masquerade as heroes or perform heroic acts either for redemption or for more covert, self-serving goals. They were first introduced in The Incredible Hulk 449 in 1997, and the original Thunderbolts were formed in the aftermath of the Onslaught saga, where many of Earth's primary heroes were believed dead. So Baron Zemo seized the opportunity and formed the Thunderbolts, initially posing as heroes to fill the void and ultimately planning to use this as leverage for world domination. However, as the team gained public trust and admiration, many of its members grew to like their new roles as genuine heroes.
Wait. You know what? Doing all this good, it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I love that. Wow, it's so wholesome.
Leading to an internal conflict and a split with Zemo. As of their key members, there's Baron Zemo, of course. Like I said, he is the original leader and under the guise of Citizen V. There's also Carla Sofen, aka Moonstone. She's a psychologist and manipulator with superhuman strength and flight. Norbert Ebersol, aka Fixer, a genius-level engineer and inventor responsible for much of the team's technology. Melissa Gold, aka Songbird, she has the ability to generate sound waves and constructs. And Abner Jenkins, aka Mac X, a pilot and engineer with a suit that grants him flight and enhanced combat capabilities. Over time, the lineup and motivations of the team have shifted, including stints led by Norman Osborn during the Dark Reign storyline, where the group was repurposed as a Black Ops government team. Later versions of the team included anti-heroes and even some stalwart heroes, like Red Hulk Thunderbolts, Hawkeye's Thunderbolts, and the Winter Soldier Thunderbolts. So the complexity of their stories makes them suitable for nuanced portrayals, exploring the grey areas between heroism and villainy. And this year, 2025, there's gonna be a movie adaptation of the Thunderbolts. The plot is not clear at the moment, but I did check the IMDb page for the movie, and there's a synopsis. Let's take a look at it.
Thunderbolts, I'm generally not a huge fan of like the whole like let's make the villains the heroes kind of plot, kind of Suicide Squad style. But I really like Sentry's character, so I'm in it for Sentry. I really want to see what they do with him. Or Void, I guess, is the primary of the movie, but still.
Gotcha. I'm not opposed to it, but I also feel like it's
I'm not opposed to it. It's overdone.
Yeah. Like, it's so easy to get wrong as well.
I feel like it's shallow more often than not.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. On paper, it seems like a neat idea, but in actual practice, you just kind of swap the roles and the story just ends up being the same. So
that's what I feel like oftentimes it's just kind of someone going, well, what if villain was good guy? And that's kind of as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Whereas when you do something like that, there's so much more interesting you can do. I think that's why I like Superior Spider-Man so much, right? Because it is that concept of what if villain was good guy, but you actually explore like the moral, like having Otto actually kind of have to face his actions and see what the other villains are doing and kind of actually find himself becoming a hero, as opposed to just, the morals aligned in this moment for us to be the good guys.
Some actual character development would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
A group of supervillains are recruited to go on missions for the government. So basically Marvel's Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Anyway, the team is gonna include Yelena Belova, Winter Soldier, Red Guardian, US Agent, Taskmaster, and Ghost.
It's also interesting
familiar
for this movie that they're choosing a lot of the villains that people didn't like from their respective movies.
Great.
And some that just haven't even been in the MCU, because I don't think Red Guardian's been in the MCU, as far as I know. I haven't seen
I don't recognize him.
So.
No.
But like, yeah, it's an odd choice. I feel like Winter Soldier's the only one that people go into it being like, yeah, I really liked Winter Soldier. The rest of them, it's like, everyone hated Taskmaster. Ghost, I feel like, was interesting, but underutilized in her movie. And it's another one where it's like they basically rewrote that character as a brand new character, but I don't think anyone.
I don't even recognize her.
Either.
What movie was she from?
The Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ah, the one I didn't see. Gotcha. Yeah, all I know is Bucky, and poor Bucky has to be here with all these people.
There's also the argument of what the heck are any of these guys supposed to do against Void? Because the difference in power is pretty absurd. So I have no idea where they're going. Well, actually, I do know exactly where they're going with this. They're gonna snap it out so Sentry takes control again, because we know Sentry's gonna show up later. So, but whatever.
I have no idea what's going on, but cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. Illuminati. It's a secretive group consisting of some of the most powerful and intelligent characters who work behind the scenes to manage and sometimes manipulate major events in the world. The group first appeared in New Avengers 7 in 2005, and their primary aim is to strategize and act on threats to Earth and the universe that they deem too large or complex for any one hero or regular team to handle.
This is another one that people thought the MCU was building towards an Illuminati movie. And then they just didn't.
It is unfortunate that I only know about this group from Multiverse of Madness, and things didn't end well for them there. So
yeah, which is, I think, another one of the many reasons people didn't. Multiverse of Madness. Because what the fuck?
Their existence and decisions secret from even their closest allies and teams. The original roster of the Illuminati includes Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, the King of the Inhumans, Namor, the King of Atlantis, Professor.
The King of the Inhumans. What is that? That's not a group we've talked about yet.
We'll get to the Inhumans. They're basically, I think I've mentioned it before, but the opposite of mutants. Not in that they both have powers. They're just derived opposite, more or less.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So and this is why Kamala Khan is confusing, because she is both a mutant and an Inhuman, which doesn't make sense. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That was a comment that I recall reading, that apparently when I asked you about the Eternals or something like that, you described the Inhumans, which are
I got myself confused there. Yeah. Something I do a lot, but
Sir X and Mr. Fantastic. They represent a cerebral counterpart to the more physically powerful superhero teams like the Avengers, dealing with cosmic scale threats and moral dilemmas that test the limits of power and responsibility. But their actions have often been controversial within the Marvel universe, bringing up ethical questions about power and governance. They're
literally called the Illuminati. I think that's the point of the comic, yeah. Imagine if one of these people turned evil. Yikes.
What could that be like? I don't know.
I wonder.
It sometimes lead to significant consequences, such as when their decision to launch Hulk into space led to the World War Hulk storyline.
Yikes, bro. Ooh, that came back to bite us in the butt, didn't it? Okay, I think I've heard of this. So basically, Hulk becomes like this supreme overlord on an alien planet, and then he comes back and crushes Earth, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Worldbreaker
Hulk.
Didn't they sort of just throw this into one of the Thor movies, too?
They reference it. It's one of those people get mad. They're like, how could they do Worldbreaker Hulk like that? It's like, well, okay, they were never going to do it, though. So having them kind of give it as an Easter egg in the Thor Ragnarok, I thought it was fun.
Because, yeah, there is a skin for this in Marvel Rivals, and its references that, but I don't recall there ever being a movie of it, so, yeah.
No. And they wouldn't like that.
Yeah, well, some of the standalone Hulk movies before were a little questionable.
To seek vengeance against them. The Illuminati hasn't been fully featured in a movie or a proper adaptation, but in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, in a fan-servicey moment, they showed up only to die, and by die I mean not a normal PG-13 MCU death, but horribly die at the hands of Scarlet Witch. And the concept of a group like the Illuminati pulling strings from behind the scenes could potentially be a significant plot element in future Marvel films. The Runaways.
We'll see.
They are a team of superpowered teenagers who band together after discovering their parents are part of an
evil... Was that Teenage Doom? What?
crime organization known as the Pride.
I see them everywhere.
They first appeared in Runaways 1 in 2003, and the series has been praised for its fresh take on the superhero genre and its focus on diverse, relatable young characters navigating both the challenges of adolescence and the complexities of their newfound abilities. The original lineup of the Runaways includes Alex Wilder, a strategic genius without superpowers who initially leads the group, Nico Minoru, a witch who can cast spells with her Staff of One, Carolina Dean, an alien from the Magdanian race who can manipulate solar energy, Gertrude Yorks, who has a telepathic link with a genetically engineered dinosaur named Old Lace, Chase Stein, who possesses vestigans, high-tech gloves that create fire and later acquires X-ray goggles, and Molly Hayes, a mutant with superhuman strength and invulnerability. Throughout its run, the Runaway series has seen several roster changes, and the team often grapples with the moral ambiguities of their parents' legacy while forging their own path as heroes. The series is notable for its character-driven storytelling and for dealing with social issues relevant to a younger audience. It brought a new style of storytelling to Marvel and made the young heroes sympathetic and relatable. The Runaways was adapted into a television series by Hulu, which premiered in 2017 and ran for 3 seasons.
I have never heard of this.
I haven't heard much about it. I think people liked it. I'm not sure.
Let us know if you've seen it and whether it was good or not, because I haven't heard a lick or mention of this at all.
Stories to a wider audience. The New Warriors, a young, energetic group that first appeared in the Mighty Thor 411 in 1989, before getting their own series New Warriors in 1990. The New Warriors were initially formed as a team of young heroes who wanted to make a difference without the oversight of established hero organizations. Unlike the X-Men,
I feel like this is a common trend of young superheroes wanting to form their own groups because they couldn't join the bigger groups or don't agree with them,
who focused on mutant issues, or the Avengers who dealt with world-ending threats. The New Warriors often took on street-level villains, environmental concerns, and social issues while balancing their personal lives as young adults. Key members of the original team, there is Night Thrasher, a Batman-like vigilante with no superpowers but extensive combat skills and advanced technology and wealth, Richard Rider aka Nova, a cosmic-powered hero and former member of the Nova Corps with super strength, flight and energy projection, Angelica Jones aka Firestar, a mutant who can manipulate microwave radiation, originally introduced in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Robbie Baldwin aka Speedball, a fun-loving hero with kinetic energy-based bouncing powers, Namorita Prentice, a clone of Namora with Atlantean physiology, super strength and aquatic abilities, and Vance Astrovik, aka Marvel Boy, a telekinetic hero who later takes the name Justice and joins the Avengers. The early New Warriors stories featured the team battling threats like Terrax and the corrupt Taylor Foundation, while also dealing with personal struggles such as relationships, trauma, and ethical dilemmas. The team became central to Marvel's Civil War event when a new lineup of New Warriors, including Speedball, filmed a reality TV show where they confronted villains. This led to the infamous Stanford incident, with their battle with Nitro resulted in an explosion that killed 600 people, including children. And this tragedy sparked the Superhero Registration Act, leading to
not good.
Oh my god, is that so? This led to Civil War? Are you kidding me? Guys!
It's a little more understandable than say like the Sokovia stuff where you're like, what do you think is gonna happen? Right?
Oh, so this is how it happens in the comic books. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. It was literally on television. And these guys were just like playing around, filming an FBI like cop chasing down criminals sort of show. Yeah, that sucks.
To Civil War, and post-Civil War, Speedball, racked with guilt, took on the persona Penance, wearing a pain-infliction suit as a form of atonement. And later versions of the team included Scarlet Spider, Hummingbird, and Sun Girl, and others expanding their lineup
Different
and
Scarlet
focus.
Spider.
And fun fact,
Gotcha.
a live-action New Warriors TV show was in development, featuring Milana Weintraub as Squirrel Girl, but it was eventually cancelled before airing.
No.
But she's voicing her now in Marvel Rivals.
Oh, hey! That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool. At least she gets to play as Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
A-Force. It's Marvel's all-female superhero team, first introduced in A-Force 1 in 2015. The team was initially formed as part of the Secret Wars event, but later received an ongoing series that integrated them into the main Marvel universe, Earth 616. A-Force was created as an all-women superhero team, showcasing some of Marvel's most powerful female characters working together. And unlike other
I
teams
think
that
Medusa would be
organically
a
grew
cool
over
tank in
time,
Rivals.
I have heard people talk about Medusa potentially getting to Rivals, and I don't know anything about her, but I think her kid would be really cool as a tank. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I'd like to
I think
see
she'd be
that.
cool.
A-Force was designed from the start to be an all-female powerhouse. So like I mentioned, the team was first assembled during Secret Wars, where they protected Arcadia, a domain ruled by She-Hulk. However, after Secret Wars, the team transitioned into Earth 616 continuity and operated like the Avengers, handling major threats to the world. The team has had a rotating roster, but the core members include She-Hulk, the team leader, a lawyer with Hulk-level edge strength and strategic prowess, Captain Marvel, Medusa, the Queen of the Inhumans, Alison Blair aka Dazzler, a mutant who can
Inhumans,
convert
okay.
sound into light and energy blasts, Nico Minoru from the Runaways, and Singularity, a mysterious cosmic entity who resembles a sentient pocket universe, serving as the team's emotional core and providing teleportation across dimensions. Other members have included
convenient.
Spider-Woman, Storm, Rogue, Scarlet Witch, and Black Widow, depending on the mission. And in Civil War II, the team becomes involved in the conflict between Captain Marvel and Iron Man, leading to internal tensions and disbandment. A-Force is one of Marvel's most progressive and diverse superhero teams, providing a platform for female-led narratives, without simply being a gender-swapped Avengers. And in Avengers Endgame, there was an A-Force moment where Marvel's female heroes unite during the battle against Thanos.
Okay. I mean,
It's not quite the same.
yeah.
It's
This
not
was,
quite the same.
I'm not gonna lie. This was not the best moment of the movie.
So cheesy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, everybody saw it for what it was, and like,
Mhm.
we all just laughed.
But it's like not only that, but like A-Force was built up of characters who had a history in the comics, right? And were
Mhm.
like established heroes, people liked them. It's like in this, it's like having Pepper Potts come down.
Just every single girl that appears in the movie in this one shot running with each other. Yes!
It just feels so shallow.
Oh, God.
It's like even the couple characters in it that are like established and cool, it's like it makes them feel cheaper just in this moment.
Yeah. It's hard to say, but for me, this gave off the feeling of like, oh, I'm not racist. I have a black friend. Or like, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't really do anything. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it. So like, nobody cares. And it doesn't mean anything.
I mean, well, this had no plot relevance, no plot significance. It was just a shot that was like, hey, look,
It was a shot
all
for
the
Hollywood.
women are badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, like, in A-Force, like, it's not even a comic series I've really read, but it's like they had a purpose and they had plot and they did stuff, right?
That's the main concern. Nobody cares if there's a female protagonist. People who do are just weird and crazy and you shouldn't talk to them. As long as the female protagonist has something to do and there's an interesting story, people will read it. One of my most
When you
favorite
write
manga.
them as a character and not as a token character.
Exactly. Yeah, not just being a girl for the sake of being there, you know? Like, one of my favorite manga of all time is Claymore. Female protagonist, all the Claymores are female. I don't care, the story was banger. I loved it. But there has to be a story. Please. Character development. All the other elements that makes a story good or readable.
Hinting at a possible Disney Plus series or maybe a movie adaptation, who knows? The Defenders.
No.
They are a superhero group known for its less conventional lineup and its status as a non-team, with members coming together as needed rather than functioning as a cohesive unit like the Avengers or the X-Men. The Defenders first appeared in Marvel Feature 1 in 1971. Created by writer Roy Thomas and artist Ross Andru. The original core members of the Defenders were Doctor Strange, the Hulk, Namor, and later the Silver Surfer. Each of these characters is a powerful entity in their own right, and their combined forces typically tackle
those personalities together.
That would be horrible. I wouldn't want to be in the middle of that. God.
I assume it's Norrin, so like, yeah, it's
Throw Namor in there too. Just,
supernatural or mystical threats that are often outside the scope of more mainstream superhero teams. And over the years, the roster has seen a wide variety of characters, including Valkyrie, Nighthawk, Hellcat, and many others, reflecting its nature as a flexible and often temporary grouping. The team's missions are usually characterized by a loose alliance, with members joining forces to address specific
it looks a lot like him.
threats that often require their unique abilities and then disbanding. In popular media, the Defenders gained renewed attention with the 2017 Netflix series, which reimagined the team to include Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist.
Such a disappointing series.
That's unfortunate. It is kind of funny though, with like the name The Defenders and it being such a fluid group. It's like, guys, we need to go and defend this thing. What should we call ourselves?
It's about as on the nose as the Avengers, so.
Yeah, pretty much. At least you'll understand exactly what they're trying to do without having to learn anything about them.
The Defenders focused more on a street-level crime fighting in New York City, contrasting with their often cosmic and mystical threats faced by their comic book counterparts. The Inhumans. They were first introduced in Fantastic Four 45 in 1965. They are a race of genetically altered human beings who have developed superhuman abilities due to exposure to the Terrigen mists, a vapor emanating from the Terrigen crystals which are central to Inhuman culture. They live in the hidden city of Attilan, originally located on an island in the Atlantic Ocean, and later relocated to the moon and then back to Earth. Their society is structured as a caste system, where each member's role is determined by the abilities they gain after exposure to the Terrigen mists during a coming-of-age ritual. The most prominent members of
okay. So what you mean by like the opposite of X-Men, these aren't naturally occurring mutations. These are induced by this mist. Gotcha.
And if I remember correctly, and there's a high probability that I am not, the Inhumans were developed basically after Marvel had sold their movie rights to X-Men to Fox. So they wanted to develop a team like the X-Men, but not. And I believe the Mist was supposed to kind of be a counter to the mutants. I'm not. My memory's hazy, but yeah. So they were literally developed as like a both in real world and in universe kind of counter to the X-Men, more or less.
Gotcha. It's funny how things turn out. But yeah, definitely.
They never were on par with the X-Men ever.
Oh yeah. They tried. Like I had never heard of the Inhumans until we saw like the Illuminati, as well as Medusa being possibly put into Marvel Rivals. Like heck yeah, put them in.
It'd be cool. I think she'd be great in Rivals.
I would be down to see like an event between the X-Men and the Inhumans. Create a little bit of a attention there, or just a fun little thing to do for us players. I mean, Medusa looks pretty damn hot, so I wouldn't mind seeing her in Marvel Rivals, that's for sure.
The group are the Royal Family, which includes Black Bolt, the king of the Inhumans, whose voice can unleash incredibly destructive shockwaves with the slightest whisper. He typically remains silent to avoid causing unintentional damage. There's also Medusa, Black Bolt's wife and queen, who has the ability to control and elongate her hair with great strength and precision.
Oh, so she's married. Oh my. Oh, no, she's wearing an actual suit. Okay. I had to do a double take there. Wait a minute.
No, fair, yeah. This is why you don't wear clothes that match your skin tone.
But what the original joke I was gonna make was, oh, so she's married. Even better.
So, Medusa's sister, who can manipulate the 4 classical elements, air, fire, water, and earth. Karnak, a cousin who has the ability to see the flow in everything, allowing him to deliver devastating strikes and solve complex problems. Gorgon, another cousin who has hooves instead of feet and can generate seismic shockwaves by stomping the ground. Triton, Gorgon's brother, who is adapted to live underwater and appears more fish-like. And Maximus, Black Bolt's brother, often the antagonist who has strong mental manipulation powers and aspirations to overthrow Black Bolt and take the throne for himself.
I was gonna say, this face doesn't look like a good person.
Their storyline often revolves around themes of genetic ethics,
the guy who looks evil ended up being evil?
Impossible. How could this have been? I wonder if there was ever a moment where they didn't know that he was evil. I don't think there would be.
Versus interventionism and the responsibilities of rulers versus the needs of their people. They frequently come into conflict with the rest of the world due to their secretive nature and the powerful implications of their technology and powers. In addition to their comic book appearances, the Inhumans have been featured in a live-action TV show and various animated series, with Black Bolt also showing up in Doctor Strange.
But I remember seeing that one of the things they did immediately in the show was cut off all of Medusa's hair, which doesn't make sense given her powers, and also, how can you introduce Medusa and then get rid of her hair? Like, what?
What the heck? Oh my god. Here's this cool superhero specifically with this power related to this. Let's make sure they never get to use it ever again.
The Multiverse of Madness as a member of the Illuminati before dying by the hands of the Scarlet Witch. The Eternals. They are a race of immortal beings in the Marvel Comics universe, created by Jack Kirby, and first appearing in The Eternals 1 in 1967. They are the result of genetic experiments on early humans by the Celestials, a powerful cosmic entities. The Celestials intended to create a group of protectors for Earth, who would safeguard the planet from threats, both terrestrial and extraterrestrial. 2 of their key characteristics is immortality and powers, whether it's superhuman strength, flight, or the ability to project cosmic energy in various forms. And they can also manipulate matter to some degree, which varies from one Eternal to another. Their members include Icarus, who's often seen as the leader. He has the typical range of eternal powers, but at a higher level. He can fly, project energy, and is incredibly strong. Circe, known for her love of humanity. She has the ability to manipulate matter, transforming one substance into another. There's also Athena, a fierce warrior that can form weapons out of cosmic energy and is a skilled combatant. Ajax, the spiritual leader of the Eternals, and can communicate with the Celestials, and Gilgamesh, the strongest of the Eternals, and he is known for his incredible strength and fighting ability. Like I said, the Eternals were designed to be the defenders of Earth, and they often find themselves in conflict with the Deviants, another race created by the Celestials, marked by genetic instability and monstrous appearances. They have a complex society with a rich history that spans thousands of years. They have their own traditions, laws, and hierarchies. They are divided into various factions based on their philosophies towards their responsibilities, with some taking an active role in guiding humanity and others preferring to remain hidden. They made their cinematic debut in the MCU with the 2021 film Eternals. The film expanded on their background, providing a broader context for their existence within the MCU, and exploring their relationships and moral dilemmas. Alpha Flight.
Gotcha. Sorry, I need a small break. There's a lot of information.
Yeah.
But I guess the Celestials just got to keep on making. Like, they make the Eternals to protect. They also make the Deviants to be the opposing force, because that's just what the Celestials are all about. Change. Mutation is a part of that.
Alpha Flight is a Canadian superhero team that first appeared in X-Men 120 in 1979. The team was originally introduced as part of the backstory of Wolverine, and later received its own series due to fan interest. Alpha Flight operates as the official superhero team of Canada, funded and sanctioned by the Canadian government. The team's roster has varied over the years, but initially included James Hudson aka Guardian, the leader of the team, Narya aka Snowbird, a demigoddess with the power to transform into any Canadian animal and manipulate snow and ice, Walter...
Specifically a Canadian animal? If it lives outside of Canada, it's just no, just
Yeah, I
gone.
guess so. I don't know. Yeah. What if they go extinct in Canada?
Oh no, then maybe she goes extinct too.
Well, like if Canada disappears, then she has no powers.
No, this is intriguing. I guess it's cool that if you're like Canadian and you like comics, and then these are like the heroes that represent your country. It's pretty neat, but also it's still pretty funny. That specifically, I can turn into animals from Canada.
I wonder if that's actually a restriction or if she just chooses to do Canadian animals.
Her country pride prohibits her from turning into anything from any other country. Yeah, makes sense.
Key, aka Sasquatch, a scientist who can transform into
my
a
God.
large, powerful beast resembling the mythical Sasquatch. Michael Youngman, aka Shaman, a medicine man with the ability to use magical spells and summon spiritual energy. And Aurora and Northstar, twin siblings with the ability to travel at superhuman speeds, fly, and project photonic energy blasts. Alpha Flight deals with the threats to Canadian soil, and their stories combine elements of science fiction, fantasy, and mythology,
This is a short
so
game.
their unique cultural and geographical backdrop offers rich storytelling possibilities that differs from the more commonly depicted American settings in superhero media. The team has not been as prominently featured in mainstream media as other superhero teams, but remains a beloved part of Marvel's lineup. Excalibur, a team that blends elements of the X-Men's mutant narrative with British mythology and interdimensional adventures. First appearing in Excalibur Special Edition 1 in 1987, it primarily operates out of the United Kingdom and often deals with threats that extend beyond Earth, exploring alternate realities
I'll have
and
to watch their superheroes Captain Britain video at some point because it's far more wild than I ever realized.
I don't even want to begin to know what's going on with the outfit here in the middle. I guess the British just do it differently.
Yeah.
dangers. The team was originally formed after the Fall of the Mutants event, during which the X-Men were believed to be dead. Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler, and Rachel Summers found themselves stranded in Britain and joined forces with Captain Britain and Meggan to form a new team. And unlike the X-Men who focused on mutant rights and political struggles, Excalibur specialized in supernatural threats, multiversal protection, and battling magical or otherworldly forces. Key members of the original team include Captain Britain, a superpowered champion of the UK, Nightcrawler, Shadowcat, a genius-level mutant with intangibility abilities, growing into a more independent leader, Rachel Summers, a powerful telepath and telekinetic, also the daughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey from an alternate future, and Meggan, a Fae-like shapeshifter with elemental and empathetic abilities, deeply connected to Britain's magical forces. And in Cross-Time Caper, one of the team's most iconic arcs, Excalibur gets lost across multiple dimensions, encountering alternate versions of themselves and bizarre new reality. And the team was also a part of the Inferno crossover where they fight some demonic invaders. Excalibur has undergone multiple revivals. There's the new Excalibur with Captain Britain, Dazzler, Nocturne, and Sage and Juggernaut, and the Krakoan Excalibur, a new version of the team that was reintroduced in the Dawn of X era, focusing on mutants and magic with members like Betsy Braddock, now Captain Britain, Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, Rector, and Apocalypse as an ancient mutant sorcerer. And as the name suggests, this version of Excalibur acts as Krakoa's magical
better as Captain Britain than I do as Psylocke.
Oh. I see. So she's the other Psylocke, the UK version. Okay. Yeah.
She's the original Psylocke.
Gotcha.
Defense team. And this group remains one of Marvel's most unique and beloved superhero teams, Agents of Atlas. Originally introduced in What If 9 in 1978 as a reimagining of Marvel's 1950s characters, the team was later integrated into mainstream Marvel continuity in Agents of Atlas 1 in 2006. The team operates in secrecy, handling hidden threats.
Wait, there's just a gorilla?
I know nothing about this team. I don't know.
I have never heard of them.
He's got the Mysterio fishbowl. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, true. Oh, we have a budget Iron Man in the back there. And I guess like a Greek goddess?
artifacts and global conspiracies. So the original Agents of Atlas were a 1950s superhero team, but their existence was erased from public history. The modern team was later reassembled by Jimmy Woo, a SHIELD agent and former FBI operative, who uncovered his past connection to the group. The team work in the shadows, often dealing with hidden alien forces, ancient threats, and covert missions that influence global projects.
They work from the shadows, and you see the guy in the red and green split suit, and you're like, I don't think there's any hiding that one.
Oh man, you never know. There might be a parade of people wearing those particular colors, so you got to have an agent ready in that scenario.
Of the members, there's Jimmy Woo, the leader of the team, with strong ties to espionage and global security. There's Ken Hill, aka Gorilla Man, a former mercenary cursed to live as an immortal talking gorilla with enhanced
Cursed to live as an immortal talking gorilla. What did you do?
How do you end up in that situation?
Right?
strength. Nomura, a half Atlantean warrior and cousin of Namor, possessing super strength and aquatic abilities. The human robot, aka M11, a sentient robot with deadly energy weapons and an evolving sense of morality. Novar, aka Marvel.
That doesn't sound good. Evolving sense of morality? You really want that on your team?
I mean, they've got Marvel Boy, and he's kind of just a fuckboy.
Boy, a Kree warrior from an alternate dimension wielding advanced alien technology, and Venus, a mystical being who resembles the goddess Aphrodite, using her powers of persuasion and emotion manipulation. Later, the team expanded with new heroes from Asia.
Oh, isn't that Luna Snow?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, wait a minute.
And Silk. Why did Silk get mixed up in all this?
I don't know who this girl on the bottom left is. Like Silver Fox, something like that?
Yeah.
I recently watched a video that there were actually files in Marvel Rivals that mentioned her, so she may become a hero. Yeah.
I have no idea what's up with all the leaks and Rivals.
Oh, you don't know what's true or false, but the heroes that have been mentioned could potentially appear in the future, so you never know.
Like Paste Pot Pete.
Yeah, definitely. 100% he's going to show up.
He was leaked in the files. He's there.
He's going to be there. Everybody's going to love him. Finally gets day to shine.
His character would be so annoying. I hope they don't add him in the game. That would be terrible.
Everything he does is CC, bruh.
Mythology and culture, including Amaris Joe, Silk, Shang-Chi, Iroh, Swordmaster, and Wave. So Jimmy Woo uncovers the erased history of the original team, leading to a reunion and their first mission against the Yellow Claw. And in the Secret Invasion tie-in, the team battles Skrull infiltrators, proving that their influence extends beyond Earth-based threats. And in Dark Reign and the war with Norman Osborn, the Agents of Atlas become an underground resistance force, fight Norman Osborn's corrupt regime. And in Atlas Rising and the new Agents of Atlas, the team is rebranded with Amaris Cho, leading agent superheroes to protect the Pacific Rim and some hidden supernatural realms. So the team focus on Asian superheroes.
I was reading his Iron Fist comics, and he's really cute.
I thought I didn't know these guys, but there are a lot of faces here that I recognize. I guess I just never knew the name of their group.
I can't imagine this comic series is that big. Because I've never heard of it before this video, but
wait, isn't that
the new version of it? I know some of these characters.
Isn't that the Swordmaster skin for Iron Fist?
It's Iron Fist before he became Iron Fist. His sword gets broken, and all the shards end up fused into his arms.
Ooh, yikes! That sounds painful.
Yeah.
Various cultural backgrounds, making it one of Marvel's most diverse teams. And thanks for watching.
All right. Well, that was a lot. we really do have a lot of groups. Some of these I've heard of, some of them not at all in my entire life.
With the power.
There's definitely a range of bigger groups, more well-known groups, and smaller, less common groups.
I mean, the thing is, the more specific you get about something, the smaller the audience you'll have for that thing. So, like, like this hero. I've never seen her before. She could turn into Canadian animals. It's really fun for anybody who knows of her, I guess, or is like, into this. But I wouldn't imagine this would receive general audience appeal. And there were definitely a lot of groups that seemed very similar to each other. Like the whole young people getting together because they dislike how the older, more experienced heroes are running things. So we can do it and do it better, sort of thing. Yeah, that seems to be a running theme. But you make stories for people. And if you want to connect with those people, then you got to go down to where they are and what they're thinking and how they're feeling. So I understand. It makes sense, right? You're trying to market it towards a teenage audience. So you bring in some teenagers that they can maybe relate to and get inspired by.
When you have just so many heroes like in your roster, right? It's like when you have them together, even for like a brief moment, all you gotta do is be like, yep, this is the X group. And it's like, then that's suddenly a part of the legacy of those characters.
The Defenders! Yeah. But these groups serve their purpose, and some of them are pretty damn cool. Like, the ones that stuck out to me were the Midnight Suns, because that just seems to be a storyline that I would be personally interested in, because I just enjoy horror and some of the other aspects that we don't really see in the mainline superhero things. So yeah, I'd be willing to check that one out. And that's when like having groups specifically built for those genres could be really beneficial. That introduces superheroes to a wider audience that might not have been interested in the whole like beat up the bad guy sort of thing. But yeah, it was a cool learning about all of these people. And I've seen plenty of characters now that I want to see in Marvel Rivals. So hopefully someday.
It always cracks me up when you see people be like, if they put out a character a month, they're going to run out of characters. No, they won't.
No, they're not.
No, they won't.
And look, if they run out of ideas, they'll pick out some like derpy looking shark in the background and make him a superhero. So they'll never run out of characters.
We all love Jeff the Land Shark.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
But all right, my dudes. Yeah, it was fun learning about all the groups, and thanks for introducing me to them, Serby. Hopefully next time, maybe we can do like a bit more of a deep dive into certain characters or certain groups. That would be pretty neat.
Definitely. There's so many directions we can go.
There are infinite number of directions. All the multiverses. Well, an infinite well of content has been opened. Oh, God. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.